KTN, always authoritative, always informative, always entertaining.
Hello and welcome to Africa Journal, your weekly roundup of news and events from around the continent. I'm Mujo Masinde in Nairobi, and here's what you can expect on today's show. Sudan celebrates 5 years since the signing of the Comprehensive Peace Agreement. Then we investigate why some people are being charged for witchcraft in the Central African Republic. And finally, trend-setting fashion. Designers unveil their latest collections at this year's Fashion Week in South Africa. Every year, hundreds of people in the Central African Republic are convicted for allegedly practicing witchcraft. In our next story, we meet a convict who's serving a 4-year sentence and who says that his case is an example of his country's failed justice system.
Onge Bekula is desperate for divine intervention, so he regularly comes for early morning mass at the Catholic mission in Bozum, about 300 kilometers from Bongi, capital of the Central African Republic. Onge was convicted of witchcraft after his village chief accused him of trying to kill his relative. He's officially a convict, but is serving a 4-year sentence away from jail because of a lack of resources in prisons.
I saw that God saved me in all that took place in the recent past. It is by the grace of God that I am alive right now, that I have confidence in God.
Onge says he was accused falsely. To make things worse, arsonists in support of the chief burnt down his house and beat up his wife. He and his family of 3 have since moved in with his sister-in-law. One person was convicted for the vandalism and sentenced to 2 months imprisonment.
I think they reacted incorrectly. The accusations were based on what was said. I've never had to deal with such an incident within the family. Neither have I ever seen people behave the way they did. Their reaction was stupid.
Up to date, there has been no proof. I did not see any proof, and I suffer for nothing. They took me to a sorcerer. They brought a young girl, the chief's sister-in-law. They made her lie on the ground and say that I was trying to kill her. Yet, the girl is alive and well. Those were the exact words. I am the one who wants to kill the girl. But I don't know how I can kill her. I don't know.
Ngwete Roger is the chief at Ndobadi village and is responsible for dealing with issues like theft. In Onge's case, the victim being Ngwete's sister-in-law led to an even heavier penalty.
I'm not
the one to judge what the court has said. We were both fighting, and I won the battle in court. I ought to have been condemned as well, but the court believed what I said. So it's not up to me to judge whether the court was fair or not.
The Central African Republic has endured several major coups since independence in 1960. And over the years, fighting between armed rebels and government forces in the country's volatile north has seen about 300,000 people get displaced. The political situation remains unstable despite disarmament programs and a new national unity government that was formed in 2009. Human rights activists say that judicial corruption and abuse of prisoners are still a problem. Witchcraft is a criminal offense here and is even punishable by execution in cases of homicide. The manner in which investigations are carried out is also often questionable.
Sometimes we directly consult a sorcerer, who will put a product into the eye of the person who has relation to the victim and who can determine where the fetish of the accused have been hidden. Once the accused is found, He has to unearth the fetish. Sometimes they will be found in the field or under the bed of the person and so on. In general, those are the indications.
We were not allowed to film inside the Bozum prison, but were able to obtain photos that show the poor conditions in the prisons here. The state is unable to provide food and proper accommodation for inmates, so they have had to let some prisoners go back home and serve their sentences by doing community service. The Catholic mission of Bozum often intervenes in witchcraft cases. Father Aurelio has been working here for 3 years now and helped rescue Ange from an angry mob.
They often accuse the weakest people, people who live alone, the ones who will not cause a lot of trouble and against who, unfortunately, you can do whatever you like. It's often women, widows, old people and children. You will never hear of a person in authority or someone in a position to defend himself being accused. The village chiefs do not usually have a lot of legal knowledge, so when there's a problem, that causes a lot of trouble.
The UN is also trying to improve the situation here by running a program known as PRED, or Project Aimed at Strengthening the Rule of Law. They train residents on human rights and raise awareness on legal assistance. Lucas Roost and a lawyer here conduct the classes, which are meant to continue after the workshop ends.
Les autorités, police, justice et prison sont des partenaires, mais pour qu'il y ait un état de droit, il faut également que la population prenne conscience de leurs droits et qu'il y ait l'assistance juridique aussi.
Our project did an analysis of data from 2008 of all prisoners. Fortunately, there's complete data, and we also did a study of the prisoners that were in the prison in January 2009. And many times, more than half of these 50 to 70 prisoners that are in the prison are accused of witchcraft. So you see a very high number of proportion of detainees, prisoners, who have been charged of or convicted of witchcraft.
A few weeks after Ange recounted his experience to Africa Journal, he was imprisoned again. The Central African Republic is scheduled to hold its general elections later this year, and many convicts hope that the leaders elected can help reform the country's legal system into one that metes out justice fairly to everyone.